All right, let's talk about posture. This is the second real, again, nothing spiritual about this, but this is so important, right? Our posture as Americans is awful. My posture was absolutely awful. I used to walk like this with my head down, shoulders slumped. This is as recently as maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I walked like that. What you want to do is you want to learn how to stand up straight, sit straight without putting in any effort. So I'm going to give you three checkpoints in your posture. You can all stand up and do this. It also works while you're sitting down. But the first one, let's do standing up. Well, you guys stand up. I have to talk in the microphone. The first thing is you want to find your sacrum. You don't want your sacrum tipped over. You don't want to be tipped over your sacrum. Just want to find it and relax. Roll your hips around. Find your sacrum. That's checkpoint number one. The sacrum is that triangular bone that bears all the weight of your body and then distributes that weight to the two thigh bones. It's like the keystone of your architecture. If you were a bridge, you know those circular bridges, there's one stone that's cut into an angle that captures all the pressure on that one stone. That's what your sacrum is. That's the first checkpoint that you have. The second checkpoint is your lowest ribs, just at the very bottom of your lowest ribs. You don't want that to be collapsed. You don't want to go crazy with it either. You just have like a little magnet on them and they just come out. And then the third is your shoulders and your head. I personally go to a chiropractor once a month. Most people are not going to go to a chiropractor. And by the way, it can take you 2, 3 years to find a good chiropractor. You can go through 10 chiropractors before you find one that you like. But you have to forget the chiropractor. You have to take responsibility for your posture yourself. Your head is just if you just right now, if you're sitting, if you're right now, I want you to realize that what I'm telling you is true. Your head is a 12-pound bowling ball. The minute you tip it forward, which we all do with the phone and the computer and the whole thing. The minute you tip your head forward, you can feel it. It pulls your neck, it pulls your spine, it pulls everything out of alignment. It strains the ligaments and the tendons along your spine. It strains the top muscles, your neck muscles. It is a 12-pound bowling ball. So you have to learn how to stand. Not and then I said this to my chiropractor. I feel like if I stand up straight, like people will think I'm looking down my nose. You know what he said to me? He said, Alan, nobody gives a shit how you stand. Like everyone's on their own, everyone's in their own little journey. They don't care what you're doing. They don't say, oh, Alan's different today. He's standing up straight. They don't care. Don't be self-conscious about it. It doesn't matter. That he said, thank you for that. Just stand up straight. And the reason you do that is number one, you'll dramatically reduce the wear and tear on your back muscles dramatically. And number two, it allows the energy to flow freely. It allows your nervous system to act without interference. It frees up your whole central nervous system, your chakra system. It's a beautiful thing. Right. And when you're like this, and you can just, if you do it sitting down too, if you feel like you're sitting and you collapse your sacrum, you can feel that. That's what most people do when they sit. They just collapse the sacrum, and then the rib points go down and the neck comes down. So you fix it. 1, 2, 3. Sacrum, the lowest rib, the bottom of your ribs, and like when they say in the army, head up, chest out, stomach in. This is how you get there. But this should be no effort. This shouldn't be an effort. It's different, but it's not an effort, if that makes sense. It might feel different, might feel weird, but it's definitely not an effort. It's not anything that's hard to do, but it's something you have to be mindful. So every time I stand up, let's say I'm watching TV and I stand up, the first thing by habit now, the first thing I just think about here. Because this also, if you correct any one of them, all three come into alignment. So as soon as I stand up, I feel myself walking like this. I just feel these two bottom ribs, and that's all I have to do. That's my little reminder point.
Can you please tell me what we're supposed to do with the ribs again?
Yeah. So the first alignment point is your sacrum. Got that. The
Got that.
second is if you feel below, right at the very bottom of your ribs, that's the
Mhm.
point that you want to put like a little magnet on. You want to put your inner sight on that, and you never want that to collapse. You want that to not collapse. Just stay structured, not any effort. Just keep it structured, and then your neck and chin become structured too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
As soon as you, so if you're sitting, and again, you're gonna, this is something you get better at over time, right? So you're gonna be typing one day and you're gonna say, you're gonna feel all of a sudden you're say how collapsed you are. And all you gotta do is sacrum, ribs, head, like that. And this is another thing too. When you're meditating, you want to keep your elbows back. You don't want to meditate with your elbows forward because that's going to pull you out of alignment. So if I'm meditating, they say to stand up straight. In China, they say, imagine this is in meditate. Imagine like you're a weed and there's a weed growing on your head and someone's pulling the weed. You want to extend that last couple of vertebrae. So when you're meditating, if you can think about it, you don't want to be collapsed. And the way to avoid that is don't put your hands out. Keep your elbows back. Because if you put your hands forward, like let's say you put your hands on your knees, that could pull you forward and pull everything forward. So just be aware of it. You now have 3 checkpoints: sacrum, bottom of your ribs, head and neck. That's it. So that's all I'm going to share with you. Make it yours. And God bless you. I hope it works for you because it's really a difference maker. It took me about 4 years to straighten out my posture, and now I feel pretty good about it. I give myself maybe a B plus, A minus, where I was getting like a D or maybe an F.